We're going to start with prayer followed by the pledge. Father God, we look to you today and we're mindful of those that don't have the blessings of life we do. And we're mindful of those our county constituents. We pray you would watch over them in this Thanksgiving season. Keep them safe. We're mindful of business before us and grant us wisdom to make the correct decisions. Also those that wear a badge and uniform and keep us safe, we pray you would watch over them. Direct our meeting now, we pray in Christ's name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome, everyone. Minutes were sent via email. Any corrections? If not, entertain a motion.
To approve.
Second. Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Payroll 24 for calendar year 2016 totals $223,111.36. We had a total of 425 claims, totaling $491,567.66.
I made a motion to approve those.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Monty. Morning.
Good morning, everybody. We have 83 inmates, 11 are DOC, and 23 are F6 DOC. And that's all I have.
Great.
Nice,
Okay.
short.
Short and sweet.
Have a good day.
Thanks, Monty.
Thank you very much.
Have a happy Thanksgiving.
You too.
Thanks. Morning, Ed.
I'm going to top that, I think, but I don't have anything printed out for you. I just wanted to give you an update on a truck that we ordered from Family Ford. You guys approved it in May. We went ahead and ordered it. It's supposed to be 2017. It's supposed to be built in October. That has not happened. They had issues with some parts on it and stuff like that. Talked to Todd just last Friday. Now they've pushed it back to January. So this is a truck that was going to replace my plow truck, so I'm hoping that my plow truck I have now is able to get through until
And if not, they'll loan you one, I'm sure.
he doesn't have one. I asked that. But I just wanted to get you up to date on that. My second question was, I had that budgeted in this year's budget. Didn't know if you cared if I went ahead and had them issue a check for it and I hang on to it till the truck comes, or just pay it out of next year's budget. That's totally up to you guys.
You get an invoice, we can encumber it.
Uncover it? Okay.
That's what I do.
You can get an invoice.
Well, I have their quote. Is that what I need, or I actually need an
Yes,
invoice?
that's fine. That's a bill of sale's fine. Yeah,
Okay.
for that stuff.
Okay,
Mhm.
I'll get that.
We can encumber it.
I'll get that, and then we'll just encumber it. So
Perfect.
that's all I have.
Thanks for helping Jared last week.
Oh, 100 North?
Yep. Very good.
That's
Appreciate
fine.
that.
Yep, not a problem.
And
Thank
working
you.
with the recycling people.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were
Yeah.
pleased with that,
That's
too.
fine. Glass down to Dunkirk, so. Okay, Nate.
I may not be that short, but this will be short for me, so. Try to hand all these out at one time, so I don't have to back and forth. I sent you some of these notes on Friday, so you had a chance to look at this, because there's just lots of numbers here. Starting with item number one, per the last meeting, you approved a revised seated budget, and looking forward to the next call for projects from the Community Crossings Matching Grant. We've put together a plan as far as how we're going to try to maximize those dollars. And so what this is essentially a first run of how we'd like to try to do that. What you'll see here on the first sheet, and sorry it's black and white, but is to pull together 6 different bridge projects to try to maximize that. That's very close to the $2 million max that we would be eligible for through community crossings. That would cover bridges 66, 6, 118, 18, 56, and then 303. Well, and there's 7 with Bridge 304 is another alternate project in that list. We already have contracts for consultants to design bridges 6 and 18. That's something we've been working on, even if we weren't going for community crossings. But with $2 million, that's a lot more projects we could theoretically do. What you'll see in the third column from the right is actually the fourth column to the right is our 5-year schedule. That was our Bridge Asset Management Plan schedule. The far right column is essentially what we'd be trying to do with the grant money. And what you'd see here is that we'd actually have projects all the way out into the 2020 5-year plan. So we'd be moving ahead leaps and bounds with this next, if we were to get all of the projects awarded. Now, there's no guarantee of that, obviously, but we're trying to plan for that. To put us in a good position for that, I have actually for you a number of proposals from consulting firms to move forward on design. Something that we found is that being ready with good engineering design allows us to try to get the projects out for bidding in a timely manner so that we can spend the money that they're awarding, because this would theoretically be 2017, 2018 dollars. So that's kind of the overall, that's the plan. These are ranked based on condition. You'll see some of these projects, 79, 2, and 203, either are in design or under construction. So you can see how we're chipping away on this pretty aggressively just in the last 6 months. Hopefully in the next 2 years, we're going to do more bridges than have been done in the last 5 years. So that's a pretty quick turnaround, honestly. That said, if we jump to the second page, you can kind of see what we're proposing to add to this schedule. My recommendations right now would be to try to take, the first one we'll talk about, I guess, is bridge number 66. That's our 1100 South project. That's the historic select Iron Truss Bridge. USI Consultants has done some research into that. What we'd be looking at trying to do is to take the deck off and do some rehab work. It's got a chip and seal on a timber decking. Right. We'd try to make that more historically accurate, and that is take the weight of the chip seal off, put a new heavy wood truss across the bottom of that, essentially as a deck, as the wear surface. It'll be more period to what was actually there. We've been told that that's actually going to be much less expensive to try to do versus, say, a removal replacement, or rehab similar to what was done on 193. The design fee proposed by USI was $21,200. That allow us to get all the documents together for that, and then we'd have a good engineer's estimate before we try to submit for the project. We wouldn't have to technically act on bidding it until it was awarded, theoretically. Bridges 118, 56, and 303. I got one combined proposal because all 3 of those bridges are within about 6 inches to a foot of each other in size. So those actually we're going to try to do as one design package with 3 different locations. That helped keep their price down and actually will work well for us bidding. So a lot of the materials are going to be identical. We try to bid all 3 essentially in series. You'd bid one on a Tuesday, one on a Wednesday, and one on a Thursday, or as a combined bid. You may get one contractor, but you'd certainly get one supplier for the boxes or for the precast members, because they'd be tooling for these 3 projects because they're all going to be essentially identical. And Butler Fairman put together a design fee for $70,500 for all 3 projects, which is pretty aggressive for us. And I think you'll see here in the averages, all 3 of these are getting an average design fee of down to $22,925, which I think is historically about 60% of what we paid prior to doing some of these packages. So, and the last one on here is Bridge 304. There were interest in trying to do a deck overlay. That's been spalling pretty significantly.
Which
It's
bridge
where
is this? I'm sorry.
it's the White Bridge
Oh.
on 450
Thank you.
East.
South of 201,
Okay.
in between 116.
The reason at the bottom of the list is because overall sufficiency rating, it's very good. Problem is the wear surface. It's a very rough condition, but it's one of those preventative maintenance projects that certainly has some merit. We don't want to wait for a bridge of that size to get to the condition where it needs to be replaced. That's very expensive. This is kind of up in the air. Talking to Butler Fairman, who had done research and a letter on this, there's 3 different alternatives. I want to bring it up as an alternative right now, but their fee, depending on what we propose to actually do, can be anywhere from $22,000 to $55,000. So I want to consider that as a community crossings grant project, but it would probably be one of the last ones on the list. If we were to be awarded, that's when I'd want to try to take action on a contract like this. So I want to put this in front of you, but really what I'd ask is for approval by the commissioners for the dollar amount and the consultants. I've given the contracts to Roy to look at. I think there's some language we may want to change in the actual contract, but the fees and the consultants, if I can get approval on those, we could then move forward on those projects. If we apply for crossings grant money and we're not awarded on any of these projects, the designs would still stand. Our goal would be then to just hold on to the designs and then submit them again. We'd still want to stick with the 5-year plan that we have. Community crossings just allows us to accelerate that. We just simply move that peg further and then continue with that 5-year plan. It essentially buys us breathing room. And they may pick 2 of the 3 projects or 2 of the 7 projects or 3 or more. The goal would be to have that, I guess, a basket of projects ready to essentially be ready to bid out immediately. And we'll have better numbers to act on those accordingly. Any questions about that? I know it's kind of a lot of different numbers we're throwing out here, and it's kind of an odd mix, but knowing that you'd move the seated budget around specifically to allow this sort of opportunity, I want to make sure I gave you good information as far as how we could proceed.
I think it looks like a good plan, and you've put a lot of research and time into it, so I'd make a motion to move forward with the plan as recommended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
3-0.
Thank you very much. Updates on Bridge 400, the Chester 1564 out on 100 West. That's the road that's currently closed. The materials for that aluminum box culvert are to be delivered today, so they had scheduled that. So those materials we delivered to the highway garage. We're working with Rick Ramsey to schedule the demo and then the installation. That should be starting here in the next week. So you'll see that happening here shortly, hopefully, and get that road opened up before winter. Also on County Road 1200 South, the road conversion for that, there's been some berm work and some additional stone added to that road work. We're testing a slightly different installation method because for right-of-way concerns on other roads, because we have the right-of-way for that, we're going to go ahead and do what we can to get that project moving. So that road's actually widening out, and we're ordering culvert replacements and tile replacements on that already. So we're trying to get that one ahead of schedule. So
As long as we take care of the drainage, so we don't have to go back in.
that's exactly right. So we're trying to get the materials ordered for that. So I've got, there's a large culvert or a small structure down on that road. We've actually ordered the pipe for that. The pipe for that should be delivered just before Thanksgiving, hopefully installed the week following. So there'll be quite a bit happening before our next meeting on that project and on 100 West. So I wanted to at least make the mention of them.
Great.
All right.
Thanks for all
That was
work.
short for me, but my throat, as you can probably tell, was a little sore today.
Thank you very much for all your hard work.
Okay, thank you.
And I do not see Bobby here. Probably is en route.
I'll
So,
text them actually.
in case anybody hasn't seen the courthouse on the north steps, we lost I'm going to say a 16-foot, 10 by 12-inch slab of limestone.
Vertical
thrown.
panel. Was it
It
the
just-
step 2 or just the up and down piece? Or was it the
Kick
the
plate?
whole section?
It was the section, just it fell in. So it's barricaded off and tarped up, and insurance does not cover that, so we're not sure how we're going to be able to place in the middle another piece of that size of limestone, so insurance knows about it, Todd at the council knows about it, but it just happened on Thursday or Friday, so.
They're actually relatively thin and hollow underneath. You would think that they'd be big slabs, but they're not.
And Bobby had just been in that room like 30 minutes before, so we're fortunate we didn't have a catastrophe, so. We can do the other business till she gets here? Or what do you think, Beth?
Okay, the only other business I had was board appointments. Just letting you know that I did get a few in. Actually, I've got them scanned to email to you.
Okay.
But I just haven't got them. I just did that this morning before I came over. So we'll be seeing some, some of the applications are starting to come in.
So this is a list of all the positions that are coming
Yes.
available.
And
And are
I provided
those
a list.
posted on the website as well, for the county website? Might be,
No, I have the application on there, but not
might
the
be nice to
position.
put the positions, list the positions on the
Okay.
county website. Of course, the engineer position is contractually obligated for 3 years, so we don't really need to list that one. Even though it's annual, we have signed agreements.
Well, I do, it is under the annual appointment.
It's an annual appointment, but we've already signed a contract for 3 years. so
Well,
we
no, I
don't have
meant
to
it's
do
on
anything.
the website overall,
Okay.
appointments, annual appointments. So I guess,
And the advertisements have run in the newspaper
Yes.
yes,
for certain positions,
for all
all of the,
the,
or just the pink ones?
not the pink ones. I did
The
not
yellow
advertise
ones?
for pink.
Okay.
Just advertise for all the board appointments, did not advertise for the employee appointments. You need
Okay.
to let me know.
Yes, we
if
will.
you do anything.
We will look at those.
And we did receive the last payment on the farm lease. And I don't know, I think there is some updates that come up on that, so I don't know if Lori wants to talk about it.
You want to start with that?
Appraisal and stuff.
Or do you want to wait till Bobby gets here?
Till Bobby? No,
I mean, she's on the agenda. If not, we'd
Yeah.
go into the farm lease stuff, or if you have something that.
that's your choice. That's fine. We do have an appraisal, at least the draft signed by one of the two appraisers, and the 16.93, that's the piece of the county farm located east of County Home Road, was appraised for $42.52 per acre, for a total of $72,000 for the 16.93 acres. And they were also tasked with, they were asked to give a fair rental value, the remainder of the farm, and in their opinion, the estimated fair cash rent per acre was $250. So I got that Saturday, I think, email.
We got
So,
it Saturday, and I think the appraisal actually specified it was done October the 28th.
well, they viewed it as of that.
Viewed it
Yeah,
as of that
right.
date, so.
So with the appraisers, with the appraisals, then the next step would be to advertise the sale and advertise for bids for the rental of the remainder of the farm. And there had been some suggestions from the present tenant as to additional terms, if anything, whether that tenant mentioned something or you have other ideas as to what you would like to see. I think the next step would be, with respect to the rental of the county farm, to, as we did last time, advertise, and then any interested parties can contact the auditor's office and get a copy of the proposed lease that would be offered. So I think it's in our court to come up with the terms on which you're willing to rent the property and go from there.
To those in the audience, we had brought this up earlier, and it was discussed briefly at County Council. We had, I asked for input from all 7 council people in regards to thoughts of renting it, selling it. We received 6 responses back of the 7. I did personally. Want to let everybody know that our investigation found that we have some pauper grave sites that indigent people that lived at the home were buried. We have no markers, no information, so we need to investigate where they are and that kind of information, which might take a considerable amount of time. That was according to a couple council people and also Jared. So right now, I think we have 2 different issues. One is whether we want to sell the 16.93 acres, and then one is probably to create a lease to replace the current lease in place, because we can't sell a farm we don't have any information at this time on. So I guess my first point would be, and if I speak out of line, or let me know, would be to take the acreage and decide, do we want to sell it?
I would like to make a motion to sell off the 16-plus acres and to proceed with that.
I would second that.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
3-0. So we'd have to come up with that.
I would also like to make a motion to take the remainder and create a longer-term lease. I'm going to suggest 3 years, and have that available next meeting to approve further.
Second that.
Okay. Release. Do we want any monies of the rent set aside for improvements such as drainage, tiling, if they are matched dollar for dollar from the current or the new tenant
Would that
farmer?
be part of the new lease, though?
That would be part of the new
We'll
lease.
develop that as we go over this next 2-week segment.
Okay.
I'd
So,
agree with that.
I agree with it, yes.
any other terms and conditions of the lease that need to be in?
I think we'll work with Roy on that.
Okay. And so you'll bring the lease back at the next meeting?
Yes.
And then we can advertise it
We'll
to
advertise it to
bid.
do it either at our December meeting
Okay.
or January meeting.
And I did appreciate the input from the current tenant. I thought those were very good ideas. So,
Okay. So now we have a motion for a 3-year lease, correct?
Okay. Yes.
And a second. Did we second that?
Yes.
yes.
Okay.
And all in favor? Aye.
All in favor? Okay. Any other in particulars that need to be addressed in regards to that?
The cemetery board we're going to do next meeting, after you look at the guidelines.
Yeah, I'll try to have a proposed lease agreement together with the notices.
But the cemetery board, we talked about that. Are you going
Yes,
to come up with
okay,
that next
yes.
meeting? Okay.
And if you provide me the name of your
Yes.
mowing person, and I'll do vice versa, we'll swap. So make sure we have different people wanting to mow the now newly found commissioner cemeteries. How will we handle the selling, selling the property of the 16.93? Will it be an auction type bid similar to what
The statute requires bids. You can employ an auctioneer. I don't know whether you want to or not. I would
If we can
suggest
just do
you
it in
have
the
it set a
room.
time and people be allowed to submit bids, and highest bid wins.
Okay.
It's for me.
How much notice? Is it a standard notice, 10 days in advance or 5 days in advance?
You have to do 2 notices at
Yeah,
least
let me check
a
on
week
that.
apart, and the last one has to be at least 7 days prior to the meeting, and stuff well
Just as
within the
long as
statute.
we
Follow the rules.
follow the rules.
Yeah, but I think that we also need to agree on the terms,
Sure.
We have to get those together first, yes.
Yeah.
just like the lease. Have-
Yeah.
Here's the terms for the sale, here's the terms for
Oh,
the lease,
yes.
and
We'll do
approve
that,
those.
then
and-
we'll set the
yes.
date.
Great.
Right.
Perfect.
Okay. And Bobby's here.
Good morning. Sorry. Okay. got a couple things today that we're going to have to bring up. One is a still, is it's becoming winter and the new year will start, and I had asked council for additional money in the commissioners, or in the courthouse building fund, to possibly, if you approved it, to get drop ceilings and hide the wires and new LED lights in the basement. They've approved it. It's just waiting on the state to approve, but in the meantime, we need to, it is something you want to move forward with, get it scheduled so that they can get it in for the winter. Otherwise, it'll be like another year probably before wintertime work takes effect, because they try to work outside.
Chosen to do that already? Or?
I had brought 2 prior in. One was Kills. Find my stuff here. Kills Construction, and I will give these to you to decide if you want to say those prices or not. And the other one was from Limberlost Construction. One you'll see is very, very high, and one is more what I expected it to be.
If we want to do it, but do it next year, can we encumber any of the monies?
If there's anything left, my budgets are pretty slim. Yeah, right.
Yeah, she's got it budgeted for 27.
I have it budgeted for 2017 in the budget, if at all, if you choose to do so.
Do you want a third one before we say them out loud?
It's hard. Yeah, it's hard
To get
for me
somebody?
to get. I've tried. I've called 2 or 3 different places.
Really? Nobody wants to do it.
Those are the prices I'll get from that it's like, well, it's not something I want to tackle. So it's up to you, but those are the 2 that.
Can we take it under advisement till next meeting?
Let's take it under advisement until next meeting.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
I'll release those, so, thank you.
And then the other thing then was the let me find the Otis elevator that went down during voting, which happens periodically. Doesn't go down often, but it does go down. It's our only one. We don't have a backup like most places. When their elevator goes down, they at least have a backup they can fall to. We don't. What it was a heat coil that went out. The heating element was overheating, throwing circuits, so we've had to disconnect that to keep it running. It's not a danger at the moment, but it does require a new motor to be put into the elevator. I did get pricing from one company on that, and again, the other 2 haven't gotten back with me, but I wanted to give you an update on what we had, so I'm going to again leave this to your discretion, but I would, since we have not got the other one, wait on that. And then also, Blake.
Why don't you just hold those up?
Okay. Blake had asked me also to get pricing for a new elevator, and the one company that we deal with now has sent both as an upgrade to the elevator, but not replacing the shaft. And it's looking not horrible, so just heads up on that.
Keep us posted.
What I thought it was.
Not as bad as we thought.
Not as bad as if we do a belt driven. It would be a lot more. Yeah, but if we stay with the pit type, which we have, it would be a lot less by just upgrading it. So that's what this price was. So just wanted to let you know on that, which then brings us to the unexpected front
Your
steps.
other drop ceiling?
My other drop ceiling. It was a little bit interesting on Thursday morning or Wednesday? Yeah, Thursday morning. Thursday morning, one of the steps did let go and fall into a closet area of the courthouse. I was in earlier. Glad I wasn't in at the time. And it was there. And then I had called Blake on the elevator issue. He says, "What's wrong with the step?" I said, "I don't know. Why?"
Did the pieces shatter?
Huh?
Did the pieces shatter, or are they
It
whole pieces?
broke. They're solid.
Yeah, it's long. I mean, I don't know. It would have to be cracked to get out of.
We tried
Wasn't
lifting
there-
it when it left.
Oh, no.
Wasn't there like iron Is there iron holding each segment? I wonder if we had a welder, we could weld those together and put the pieces back.
I would very much not suggest that.
Might be worth looking at.
Personally, I'm not sure that this would be the only one that was an issue.
Yeah, I'm thinking
That's
there
true.
might be other ones that have, they're a little springy when you walk on them, like over the years, I know.
It's a year. It's
Probably out of warranty.
Yeah, there's no warranty.
Huntington had a gargoyle ball.
Yeah, I've actually called
It's just a deal on
Zolakowski's.
some of those things.
Yeah.
Are they coming down?
Yes, I've called Zolakowski's. They will be here on December the 1st, which is about a week from
It'll be before our next meeting, so.
Yes,
He
yes.
can give us their
She went
suggestion.
across
At
the
that
whole-
point, he'll give us his suggestion.
one's
I've
the
kind of heard a little bit of it, so yeah. We in the meantime have had a box built over the step and had a kind of a reinforcement under it in case somebody did decide to shoot out the door. That it's a little bit safer than just a hole with a tarp over it. But we do have the tarp still over it just because of next to the handrails. There are still some openings where water can still get in. Chances are this repair would be not something that can be done over the winter due to temperatures and cement and different
Well, we
stuff.
want to
they
look
have
at the
do.
options.
Yeah,
of
and you'd
even
wanna see
possibly
what they
removing
were,
the
too.
stairs altogether, or what it might take.
Yeah, whether or not you wanted to. Yeah, there's lots of options you could look at, to do. Now's a good time to look at some stuff if it's something that you'd want to change. So.
Is that something to look at in terms of the drop ceiling on the basement floor also, if you're considering?
I don't know that it would
That's more
enter.
interior. I think.
Yeah, I don't know that it would affect that
Change
too
that.
much. Yeah, no, not on the drop ceiling part of it, because it is kind of like you would still have your weather lock there, which would still bring the doors into the building. So, and they're already drop out in the tunnel. So, yeah, so I don't think that would affect that too much at all. So. But yeah, I was going to say, as the front steps, there's a lot of options that could be looked at, and we won't know till after they get here to actually take a look at it. I'm also going to have them be looking at the east side steps just because of the same situation, same type of step.
Sure.
So
What
we
kind of
want-
access does the east side have? Because this is coming out from doors. Are there doors? that
There's a
access
door
underneath
that
it?
accesses underneath of that also.
That's
yes.
in
So it's easy to
community
get to.
corrections.
That's in the community corrections area. Much smaller basis, or, scale, but it is still there, the same type of a structure. So just wanted to give you kind of a heads up what we're looking at, that it is probably
You have a-
not going to be cheap on either asset, or whatever, but if you have another group that you would like me to get in touch with, or have somebody who would like to come take a look at that and give me a price on the drop ceilings, I'm open to whoever. But I've
Anybody in
called
the
a
audience
couple.
knows of anybody that's interested in work, let us know.
Yeah, because it's a big job because of the wiring and different stuff,
Right.
and then
No,
that they would
this-
have to deal with on that.
Most
so.
of my people are specialized
Specialized in certain areas.
drywall or electrical plumbing.
Yes, exactly. So it would be,
Okay.
whether it's a general that can handle all or not. And so
Very
just
good.
heads up, and so I just wanted to give you an update. So,
When you
any
have that
questions?
old of a building, we have issues.
So any questions from you?
Good
you.
job. I know it's a lot of work. Thank you.
All right, thank
Thank
you.
you, Bobby, appreciate it.
Have a great week. Great.
Okay. Beth, have anything else?
No.
Kev?
I had a meeting, one of my quarterly meetings with Governmental Insurance Exchange last week, and I meet quarterly with them. And the discussion was Montgomery County Highway Department unfortunately had a fire take out 13 of their plow trucks. So my question that I'm raising, and I'm working with our insurance carrier, is do we have replacement value on these individual units, or do we have cash value? And that being said, you don't wish that on anybody, but the misfortunate part of, to wipe out your whole fleet would be to come up with the money if you just had cash value on a truck. Because you're going to spend $180,000 on a new tandem axle truck. And if you're, honestly, we run these trucks till they're not any good anymore, and you're lucky to get 20,000 out of one, right, Ed? So to come up with something like that, so I'm investigating what and how, and it kind of looks like it's on a per unit basis, so it might take some work. So I guess
And that doesn't even take into account the fact that you can't even get them, even if you had the
Correct.
money to get them.
right. So a lot of the surrounding counties are loaning trucks to try to keep them operating through the winter. They don't have a cause but it's just kind of raises a question.
Good
What do you
question.
do? So I'm doing that.
Thank you.
I was at the Mayor's Commissioners Caucus Wednesday, and different legislative issues that are on board. Let me see if I can just bring up my paperwork. Just kind of give you an idea of a few things that is in discussion regarding northeastern Indiana manufacturing jobs. They want a 9% reduction. There's states around us that it's called decoupling, and we're the only state, Michigan, Ohio, Illinois, and Kentucky, have that. We have Edge Credit. That's another thing that we want to go after. Reward talent made here. That's the IPFW, Ivy Tech campus. Fully fund the Indiana Grown Project. One of the other items that's kind of in discussion is pre-K. Another one is the RDA, and this RDA has been enacted in northwestern Indiana for quite a while. It was actually funded by the legislature and
What's that stand for?
Regional Development Authority.
Okay.
And it's what the councils in northeastern Indiana passed, I'm thinking a year or two ago, for supporting this northeastern Indiana area. They would like to support the option of every county having the ability to have a food and beverage tax. They don't have to have it, but at least have the option. And those that already have it, which is Allen County, that they can raise it. So that's an option that's out on the thing. And then the other big thing is our road funding for all the roads. And the sales tax for gasoline was increased in 2003. So we've not had any increase on that for, what would it be, 14 years, 13 years. So those are issues that we're looking at taking to the legislature. So if there's any other options or questions that you guys have, let us know. We'll be glad to pass them on to Matt and Travis, Dan, Kevin, that represent our area. So appreciate any input. So you have anything else, Roy?
I do have one right-of-way for the commissioners to accept.
And where is it?
It's on 1000 South.
Okay, it's one of the bridges.
Yes.
Good.
Is it Bridge, 1000 South? Yeah.
Bridge 203 area.
Motion to accept and sign the right-of-way
Bridge 203, yes.
for Bridge
Motion
203.
second, all in favor?
Aye.
3-0. Okay. All three signatures, I'm sure.
Yeah. One more item that we have next week is the annual Commissioners Conference. So I'm sure we'll find out tidbits of information to hopefully bring some back.
Pearls of wisdom.
It'll be wisdom, all right.
Beth, do you have a stack of papers for us
If not, I'll open it for
today? Okay.
audience
Where'd
questions,
they go?
opportunities.
Quiet bunch.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
We're done. Thank you very much for your
Oh, that's wrong way.
attendance.
There you go.